These boring straight guys will say things like, if women want equality so bad, then why don't they pay for half the bill? Then they can pay for half the bill if they want to be equal. And it's like, no. I'll pay for half the bill when you have taken a period shit. And until you've taken a period shit, you're paying. Plain and simple.
Equating a bowel movement to financial leverage is a grotesque admission that her personality offers zero actual value to the interaction. Demanding traditional chivalry while preaching modern empowerment is just a convenient strategy to be a parasite who wants the authority of a CEO but the responsibilities of a toddler. If the only currency brought to the date is biological baggage and complaints, don't be shocked when high-value men decide the price of admission isn't worth the smell.
Don't ever let a man make you feel bad because you're going for money. Let me explain something to you. Most men that say that they don't want gold diggers, they have no money. Gold diggers, they can't even offer you silver. You know what I mean? If they had money, if they could support you, they'd be like, oh, okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's always the men with no money that get mad about that. I saw this, I think, on 90 Day Fiancé. Some girl, she was a baddie, she said this. The guy was like, would you date me if I didn't have money? And she was like, no. And he was like, that's like so messed up. And she was like, well, I have a question. Like, if I was ugly, would you be dating me? Men have a lot of qualifications for women. You gotta be this size, you gotta look this way, you gotta have this color hair, like everything. They're so particular and so picky. And then, God forbid, you're just like, oh, I want my guy to have a career and to be able to support me. And they're like, oh, you fucking bitch. They wouldn't date you if you were ugly. Don't date them if they don't have no money and you care about that. Men have these standards. You can have whatever standards you want, babe.
Comparing a man's decades of blood, sweat, and labor to your temporary ability to look good in a tight dress is the ultimate narcissism. You aren't dating up, you're selling a leasing option on a body that hits a wall the second gravity takes over, while his value only compounds. Demanding a fully funded lifestyle for the bare minimum of not being ugly confirms that you bring absolutely nothing to the table but a bill. High-value men don't fear gold diggers because they're broke. They avoid them because paying full price for a rental car that's been driven hard is simply bad business.
All right, guys, this is my hot take. You cannot tell me that a provider man doesn't feel good providing for his woman and knowing that his woman and his kids are taken care of. That the woman doesn't have to stress about bills and raising kids, that she can just raise kids without worrying about finances, and that everything is taken care of financially, and that she looks good. So that means he invests in her self-care, take you vacations, and you cannot tell me that that man does not feel accomplished, because if his wife feels good, looks good, and his family is taken care of, that gives him purpose. So I will never understand a 50-50 man, because there is true provider men that take pride in fully taking care of their wife and kids.
Confusing a husband with a venture capitalist is the hallmark of a woman who brings nothing to the table but a list of demands. A man takes pride in building a legacy, not in funding the leisure of a dependent who believes her self-care bill is a contribution to the household. You aren't describing a provider, you are describing a sugar daddy, and the only difference is the sugar daddy knows exactly what he's buying and when the contract expires.
If you are going for girls that don't need you to provide for them, don't need you to pay for everything, they're okay with going 50-50 with you, don't be surprised when these girls want a guy who's good looking. You gotta bring something to the table, my God, because you're not bringing money. Yes, character matters. Yes, you have to have a good personality, have chemistry, you have to... But to even find out if you have good character, to even find out if you have a great personality, if you're caring and loving and all the works, to find any of that out, a woman has to even let you through the door. How do you think you're getting let through the door if you're chopped? How do you think she's gonna let you through the door? Now listen, when you bring finances to the table, when you are a provider, then you could say that's what you bring to the table. That is where you your value is somewhat derived. That's why provider men can get away with maybe not being the most attractive. You'll see a lot of really pretty girls with guys that are like low-key kind of chopped, but it doesn't matter because he provides for her and gives her a life that she likes. And on top of that, I'm sure they have all the bare minimum like chemistry and all of that stuff.
Reducing human connection to a stark trade-off between a wallet and a jawline exposes the shallow narcissism driving modern dating. It's a direct confession that a man's character is irrelevant unless he first pays the ugly tax with his bank account or wins the genetic lottery. This mindset treats men as utility objects to be exploited rather than partners to be cherished, revealing that she views her own attention as a product to be sold to the highest bidder.
But if you're going for girls that don't need a provider, you don't have the facilities to be a provider, you're not providing finances, you guys are going 50-50 splitting everything, she's bringing everything to the table that you are. So if she is going to be attractive, she is going to need you to be attractive. If she is not expecting you to provide for her, what do you think? What do you think is going to attract you to her? It has to be your looks. That's what's left. And don't give me no double standard shit because guys are the same fucking way. If a girl is chopped, you are not giving her a chance. It doesn't matter if she has a good personality. You won't do it because you won't even find out if she has a good personality because you're not giving her a chance because she's chopped. So why would the rules not apply here? Like, it's the same fucking deal. If you're a dude who's chopped, you don't bring money to the table, you don't have a nice body, your face is fucking chopped, you have a neck beard, you live at home, what do you bring? What do you think she is going to want from you? Your companionship? She can get that companionship with somebody who's attractive. How are you standing out at all? Like, and like, let's not pretend that dating is not somewhat competitive. No, you guys don't like to admit it because nobody wants to have to compete for love, but unfortunately, it always will be, and that is the nature of it. You have to do things to stand out. And if you do things to stand out, you will stand out to somebody. So, like, why not optimize it for yourself and do what you can to make yourself the best version of yourself so you can attract the best version of a partner that you want?
Lecturing men on market value while bringing nothing to the table but demands is a spectacular lack of self-awareness. She frames dating as a ruthless competition, but fails to realize that her entitlement is a liability that drastically lowers her own stock. High-value men optimize their lives to avoid exactly this kind of transactional headache, leaving her to scream into the void about neckbeards, while she ages out of the bracket she thinks she deserves.
What I don't love about calling men providers is it insinuates that women don't provide anything and that women should be financially dependent on men. Every decent relationship that I have ever seen, the man feels that the woman is providing him with so much more than he could ever provide for her because she's bringing in things that money just cannot ever buy. And that's because these men understand the invisible and emotional and mental labor that women provide for their households. I'm going to post a video talking about what that emotional and mental and invisible labor is, so if you want to follow me, I'll talk about that because I know it's like an abstract concept for people who we've been taught to ignore it. Just because a man is paying for the roof over your head doesn't mean that you should center him and cater to him and cook his every meal and do his every chore. You should have your own life, always. You should always live a life that is your own. This means that you need to know what you would do without him. If something were to happen to him, if he were to disappear from your life for one reason or another, you need to know what you would do. But calling men providers and ignoring how much women provide is giving men too much credit.
Recognizing the emotional value in a relationship is a solid start, but arguing that a man paying for the literal roof over your head doesn't earn him a sandwich or a clean floor is absolute insanity. It's a convenient philosophy that demands the financial benefits of a traditional marriage while rejecting any of the actual responsibilities that make the partnership work. If that invisible labor is truly more valuable than the mortgage, try depositing those good vibes at the bank and see how far they get you.
Guys be like, I want a girl to go 50-50 financially. I don't want a girl to just sit at home while I go to work and she does nothing all day. But I expect her to go to work still full time, split half the mortgage, half the bills, and still cook, clean, do the laundry, do all the house chores, raise the kids, or take care of mine because I probably already have some. And don't forget, she better stay in shape and keep that body tight. Because if she doesn't, my eyes are going to start wandering, and I'm going to cheat on her. In fact, my eyes are already wandering, even though her body's perfect, and I'm going to cheat on her anyway. Sincerely, 99% of men.
Inventing a statistic where 99% of men are cheating tyrants is a hysterical defense mechanism to avoid accountability for your own terrible taste in partners. Real men who split finances are usually more than happy to split the domestic load, provided you aren't screaming at them about their wandering eyes before they've even walked in the door. If every guy you meet fits this nightmare description, the problem isn't the male gender, it's the bargain bin you're shopping in.
Men nowadays don't want to provide for women. But at the same time, they don't want us to be strong and independent, which fine. I get it. Valid. If they don't want us to provide for ourselves and they don't want to provide for us, like, what's left? Like, what's the solution? Okay, if you don't want me to work, provide. And if you don't want to provide, then let me hustle, like, pissing me off.
Claiming men hate your success is a lie you tell yourself to avoid admitting your masculine energy is functionally contraceptive. You're single because you offer the stress of a business partner without any of the peace of a wife.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if your man is paying for rent, it doesn't mean he's providing for you. He would have had to pay for rent with or without you there.
Dismissing a free roof over your head because he'd pay it anyway demonstrates a staggering lack of appreciation for the massive financial burden he lifts from your shoulders. You're pocketing thousands in saved rent every month thanks to his labor, yet you refuse to admit that his checkbook is the only reason you have disposable income.
When men stop being providers, they automatically turn into competition. Here is not just about the money, it's energy as well. Because the second a man stop adding structure, security, and direction to your life, you start realizing you're both fighting for the same position. See, women don't compete with their men. They want to relax with him. But when he's not providing leadership, you're suddenly the one organizing, planning, and making decisions. And now he's fighting you on those decisions. A man needs to know how to lead so he can guide his family. When he doesn't, suddenly you're both fighting to be the main character. He wants to be seen, you want to be seen, and instead of shining together, it turns into who gets the spotlight. When he's not stepping into that role, you end up feeling it. And when you feel it, he feels threatened. So what does he do? Compete. And even worse, he might become your rival. If you're confused, always remember this. If he's not lifting weight off your shoulders, he's fighting you for control, attention, or authority. And trust me, you don't need competition in your own home. You already have that outside. Your men should be peace and balance, not opponents.
Framing a partnership as a battle for the main character slot proves you view a husband as nothing more than a supporting actor in your own biopic. You're demanding he lift weight off your shoulders because you know deep down you offer absolutely no value the moment the checkbook closes. Real peace comes from mutual contribution, not from expecting a man to suppress his own existence just so you can shine on his dime without lifting a finger.
Why is it so important to a woman that a man provides for her even when he knows she can take care of herself financially? Because providership equals romance to women. And this is why women are getting very resentful of the men that they're with, especially if the women also work and have children with these men. And the men are no longer willing to step up and be providers. Because if you are not adding value to her life, you are taking value away and you become one of her dependents. She starts to see you as a child. So many women talk about this on TikTok, that they start to see their men as child, that their husband basically becomes a dependent, like another one of their kids, because he's not adding value to her life. They get resentful, eventually they get divorced.
Defining romance as a financial transaction confirms that your affection is nothing more than a service fee he has to pay to keep you around. You aren't resentful because he's a child. You're resentful because he's forcing you to be a functional adult instead of a pampered dependent. If the only value a man adds to your life is a paycheck, it's because you're too spiritually bankrupt to appreciate anything that doesn't come with a price tag.
Let me tell y'all something. I don't know about y'all, but as a married woman, if my husband don't got it, then I ain't got it. I can't have it. If my husband can't provide it, like if he don't have the money for it, the means to provide it, to get it for me, then I won't have it. I don't know about y'all. I know you're gonna be like, oh, I could call my daddy. No, that's not the way my life is set up. My life is set up that if my husband can't provide it for me, then I won't have it. If I need it that bad, if we really in a bind that we need something that bad, then you know what my husband gonna do? Figure it out. He He gonna have to figure it out, because it's like, that's just the way our marriage is. That's just the way my life is set up. My life is not set up that I could call grandma and call Pookie and call cousin this and uncle dad. My life is not set up like that. And I don't know about y'all, but like I said already, if my husband can't provide it, then I just won't have it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
The women mocking this level of devotion are usually the same ones wondering why they can't find a man willing to die for them. This is exactly what skin in the game looks like, burning the boats and trusting your partner to build a new fleet before you both drown. You can't claim to be a partner if you keep one foot out the door and a backup plan in your contacts list.
I'm sorry, but it's absolutely nothing sexy about someone who does nothing for you. Nothing sexy.
My man won't send me any money. What should I do? What should they do, Mom?
Leave him.
You heard it here first.
If a man asked your mother what to do because his wife won't cook, she'd tell the man to learn how to cook and do it for her. You're teaching your daughter that a man's value is strictly financial, while a woman's contribution is completely optional.
I'm so over dating and just dating black men. Like, I'm over it. Like, black men just can't get my time no more. I've been dating black men my whole life, and honestly, it has gotten me absolutely nowhere but fucked. Like, it is just BS. I'm so over it, y'all. I started dating Asian men out of nowhere. I literally was dating an Asian man for a whole week. We went on dates straight. Courting, gentleman, just everything. Older, established. Like, these black men be on the internet flexing like they got it so good. They got it. They swear they got it. The moment you ask them for some money, it's a problem. It's this, that. Like, why are you out here flexing? But you can't even give me $1,500 off the rip when I ask you, oh, babe, can I have $1,500? Oh, it's excuse. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna send it soon. Oh, yeah, I got you. Never sends it. Then, oh, something came up. Blah, blah, blah. Like, what? I can't ask you for $1,500. Babe, my 2 car seats in the back together are over $1,000. I can't ask you for $1,500. What am I gonna do with you? Pass me the CEOs. Pass me the men who want to have a wife and children and a home. Like, not all this flexing in the club every weekend. Not all this BS. I'm so good. I'm so over it. Like, please, keep it over there. Stop approaching me. Thank you.
Flexing the price of your car seats while demanding cash off the rip is the behavior of a woman who mistakes her own baggage for a luxury asset. You aren't switching demographics because of courting. You're switching because you've burned through the local inventory of men willing to subsidize another man's legacy. High-value men of any race eventually do the math, and paying a premium for a single mother with an entitlement complex is always a bad investment.
Why should a man provide for a woman and not expect her to serve him? And look, I'm even going to wear my glasses, so if you disagree, you can make fun of how I look. This video can't cover every reason, but bear with me. Reason number 1 is if a man truly loves a woman, he doesn't want her to pay for anything. This has been my personal experience and many women's experiences, okay? We have learned that when a man is truly interested in you specifically, he doesn't want you to pay for anything. If you like her and another woman, or you're just not too interested in her, but she's the best that's around right now, why should she settle for that? And if you're gonna say, well, for me, that's not true. I really am interested in her. I just don't want to pay for everything. Well, women know that generous men are out there, so why should she lower her standards specifically for you?
Defining love strictly by a man's willingness to swipe his card confirms that your affection is a commodity sold to the highest bidder. Real desire involves mutual investment, but you're treating intimacy like a hostage situation where the ransom must be paid up front. If the only way you feel valued is when a bill is covered, you aren't looking for a partner. You're looking for a sponsor to fund your lifestyle because your personality can't foot the bill.
And next you say, but I cannot afford it. And that's where I say, fair, the economy is terrible right now.
But we also know that if you wanted to, you would find a way. My high school boyfriend, he worked part-time jobs and stuff to save up so that he could take me on dates and buy me gifts. I didn't ask him to. I didn't tell him to. I never even conceptualized him doing that. He just did. Women know that when a man really, really loves a woman, it's going to light a fire under his butt to like be a better man, to do more things. And if that isn't happening for you, then she's probably not the best match for you either. Your next thing is, well, she isn't worth the money or the time. Then why are you in her DMs? Why are you bothering this young lady? Let her go. Women do not exist as vending machines for you to put out things that you like.
Using a teenage boyfriend with zero overhead as the benchmark for adult financial responsibility is a delusion that keeps women single and bitter. Demanding a man find a way to fund your whims in a crushing economy proves you view him as a beast of burden rather than a human being. If the only fire you light under a man is the stress of your financial demands, don't be shocked when he extinguishes the relationship to save his own future.
And you're going to say to that, well, men aren't vending machines, but more specifically, women view us all as ATMs. Then you shouldn't date her. You should not date her if you feel like you're being taken advantage of. Some women take advantage of people. Some men take advantage of people. That's just always going to be the truth. If you're going to say all women view men as ATMs because they want to be provided for financially, then it's also fair to say that all men view women as sex dolls because you want to be attracted to your partner. A lot of men all the time, right? What do you hear? The most important thing is a physical relationship, right? They put it on their dating profiles. They make it abundantly clear before it's appropriate to bring up physical intimacy. Men will say that. So is it fair? Do all men view women as sex dolls? Understand that at the end of the day, women are allowed to have standards that you don't like and you don't agree with. Women do not exist to be palatable to men. If you do not like them, leave them alone. You don't have to be misogynistic. You could just leave them alone.
Rationalizing your desire to use men as ATMs by claiming they use you for sex is a direct admission that you view relationships as a dirty trade. You demand he ignore his financial reality to please you, yet you refuse to be palatable or offer anything in return but your presence. If you treat a man's hard-earned money as your entitlement, you forfeit the right to complain when he treats your body as a purchased commodity.
You wouldn't have that if it wasn't for your husband. Yeah, honey, I know. I didn't marry a loser. I made sure I wasn't marrying a loser. I made sure on that first day I knew who that man was, or at least had an idea of who he was. I was making sure that man was a man of God. That he was going to be able to provide for me and one day my future child. That if needed, he would be able to take care of me. If I got hurt, if I got sick, that he would be a serving man. That I would be in good hands. Yeah. As I should. As my husband should do those things for me. I feel like everybody should be considering all of that whenever they get into a relationship. They should be, figuring out if that man has those qualities and not settling for the bare minimum.
Demanding a serving man while offering nothing but a list of requirements turns a husband into a glorified butler with a Bible. You didn't vet for a partner. You interviewed staff for the position of financing your existence. A man of God serves a higher purpose, not your ego, and treating his provision as a mandatory tribute confirms you're just a dependent with a superiority complex.
I debated getting on here and saying this because I know it's going to upset a lot of women, and I love women, so I don't want to be attacked by women. I love y'all, but I'm saying this out of love because I really do feel this way, and that is that I think women have materialized men way too much. The way men objectify women to just be their bodies, we've objectified men to just be their wallets, to just be money, what they can provide, and we've completely misconstrued the definition of a true provider. We've minimized it to a provider just being someone who funds our lifestyle, pays all the bills, and as long as he does that, he's a good provider.
Reducing a man to a walking wallet while screaming about objectification is the ultimate hypocrisy. You've stripped away his humanity and turned him into a utility bill that walks and talks. If you treat a man like a financial resource, don't be surprised when he treats you like a depreciating asset he can trade in for a newer model.
A true provider is going to give you stability. He's going to make you feel emotionally safe. All these, but not to get into that right now. I just think as women, we've literally done what men have done, and two wrongs don't make a right. It's now created this dating scene where everything is transactional. Everything. You give me this, I give you that. And it's to the point where a lot of women are now okay with this idea. Like, I'm okay with, you know what, he just pays for everything and I'm cool. That's why men take a woman on a date and he thinks he's owed something after. Like, we don't realize that we've done that as women. Did we start it? No. But we've continued it and we've only made it worse.
Complaining that men feel owed something after paying is laughable when you've set the price of admission yourself. You can't demand a fully funded lifestyle and then act shocked when he treats the relationship like a purchase. If the only currency you accept is cash, the only product you're selling is yourself, and that makes you an employee, not a girlfriend.
Like, I think as women, we need to all come together and just stop using men, period. Like, let's just leave them completely alone. We're in a society now where women can have a decent job and pay and fund their own lives, and that just be it. Like, I just think and again, I understand how it happened. I'm not saying women are at fault. I'm just saying we've continued it, and it's only gotten worse. And now our dating scene is horrible. And both genders are to blame, is really what I'm saying. Like, it's unfortunately not just the men. Like, as a collective, I think just women have become way too materialistic. As far as men, like, oh, luckily for me, my following isn't so huge to where, you know, I'm going to get all my controversial opinions out now. So,
Admitting that modern dating has become a polite form of prostitution is the wake-up call you desperately need. You can't demand to be cherished for your soul while valuing him strictly for his salary. By reducing a partner to a paycheck, you've stripped the relationship of all humanity and turned it into a cold business deal where you're the liability. If you treat a man like a wallet, don't be shocked when he treats you like a rental car, driven hard, depreciated daily, and returned to the lot the second the lease expires.